So, on September 2nd, 2025, Vietnam celebrated the 80th anniversary of its independence with this absolutely massive parade in Hanoi's Ba Đình Square. I mean, this thing was the largest in decades, a huge display of national pride and military muscle. But what was it really all about?
At first glance, it looked like your standard military procession. Tanks, jets, soldiers marching in perfect lockstep. But if you looked just a little bit closer, Vietnam was sending a much more sophisticated and frankly, a more powerful message. And it had less to do with all that hardware and everything to do with its people. The sheer scale was just staggering. Get this, 87 distinct formations. And this wasn't just the military. This was like a cross-section of the entire nation out there on display. Of course, all the traditional symbols of power were there. You had the ground trembling with tanks, jets screaming overhead, missile systems rolling past the grandstand. And the presence of those international honor guards from key partners, well, that sent a pretty clear diplomatic signal about Vietnam's foreign policy, right? It's about building broad partnerships while fiercely protecting its own sovereignty. But this is where the story gets really interesting. Beyond all that expected spectacle, there were two things that made this parade fundamentally different. First, its social breadth, and second, a very, very deliberate focus on gender. And this is where we find the hidden strategy. What was so striking was the prominence of 7 all-female military contingents. And look, these were not just token placements. We're talking about entire formations of female medical officers, peacekeepers, commandos, and signal troops, marching with precision right up front and center. It was a completely unmistakable visual statement. The message behind this visibility was crystal clear and totally intentional. This wasn't just about representation for representation's sake. No, this was a reaffirmation that women are not some auxiliary to national defense. They are a core component of it, in the past, right now, and in the future. And this theme of inclusion, it didn't just stop with the marchers. It extended right into the audience. The guest list was like this carefully woven tapestry of Vietnamese society. By seating ethnic and religious leaders right next to veterans and overseas Vietnamese, the government was showcasing a unified, cohesive nation. Which, of course, raises a big question. What strategic purpose does all of this serve? Well, it all comes down to this core concept in Vietnamese strategic thinking, the all-people national defense doctrine. Now, this isn't just some catchy slogan. It is the foundational principle of the country's entire security strategy. So, what does this actually mean in practice? It means that defense isn't just the Army's job. It's a responsibility that's shared by everyone. It's this idea that a nation's true strength comes from mobilizing every single one of its resources, political, economic, cultural, and human, for the collective security of the country. And this idea, it's deeply, deeply woven into Vietnam's history. And this is not some new idea they just came up with for the 21st century. The prominent role of women in that 2025 parade is really just a modern reflection of a very long, very proud tradition of female leadership in Vietnamese resistance and defense. I mean, this legacy goes back nearly 2,000 years to the Trung sisters, who led a major revolt against foreign rule. Fast forward to the 20th century, and you have General Nguyen Thi Dinh, who organized the legendary long-haired army, a force of women who were absolutely instrumental in intelligence, logistics, and even combat. So when you see those female commandos marching in 2025, you have to understand, they are walking in the footsteps of a powerful historical lineage. Okay, so we've got this historical doctrine of inclusion, but how does that translate into tangible modern-day strategic advantages? Why does this matter so much for Vietnam today? Well, it really breaks down into 3 key pillars. The advantages really break down like this. First, you've got operational resilience. Second, social cohesion as a form of deterrence. And third, enhanced international legitimacy out there on the world stage. Let's just break that down real quick. Operational resilience just means you have a wider talent pool for everything from peacekeeping to signals intelligence. Plus, diverse teams are just proven to be more adaptive. Social cohesion? That means a unified country is much, much harder for an adversary to try and coerce or destabilize. It just raises the political cost of any aggression. And finally, international legitimacy. When partners around the world see female peacekeepers and visible gender equity, it builds trust and it strengthens alliances. It's a huge soft power win. So when you put it all together, that 80th anniversary parade becomes so much more than just a celebration. It was a lesson. It was teaching the world and its own citizens that in the 21st century, true strength isn't just measured in missiles. It's measured in the unity and the full participation of its people. It's a reminder that a nation that mobilizes all of its talent is harder to intimidate and better able to secure its own future. And that, well, that might just be the most powerful message of all.